Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, January 20th at 5:30. We are calling the regular board meeting of the Wake County Board of Education to order. I want to welcome those of you all who are watching at home and those of you all who are here in person. The Wake County Board of Education meetings are conducted for the purpose of carrying on the official business of the school system. The public is cordially invited to attend the board meetings and to observe the board as it conducts its official business. Persons who willfully interrupt, disrupt, or cause disturbance at an official meeting may be directed to leave by the presiding officer. Members of the audience should show respect to the speakers by refraining from loud comments and/or disruptions. Disruptions by any persons or persons of the public will be subject to action in ordinance with Journal Statute 143-318. We have a quorum. All 8 board members are here in person, and Ms. Rice is remote. At this point, we'll stand for the Pledge of the Allegiance. All right. So we will move to the approval of the agenda, and I know there will be some modifications to the agenda. But tonight, the board will begin using online voting this evening. Board members, please remember that you need to sign into Assembly in order to cast your votes. Please note that I will pause after board members have casted their votes to ensure that all votes have been reflected. So, is there a motion to amend tonight's agenda to remove, which policy is Ms. Caulfield?
Policy 6220.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion? There a second?
Second.
It's a motion by Ms. Caulfield, seconded by Vice Chair Hershey. All in favor, we will open up the vote to amend tonight's agenda to remove policy 6220.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
if I may, this is under item Roman numeral 4, policy item A. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
All right.
Well, it's.
All right, Ms. Allen, are you ready for us? Thank you.
I didn't have a technical change because I don't know. We don't know yet.
It's getting ready to open up.
Oh, here we go.
So the voting has popped up online, so then you click record my vote. So it should have popped up, and if you can. It's been amended. He hasn't voted yet.
Chair Swanson,
Yes.
are we also going to do voice vote for people watching online, or will it just be Assembly?
It will just be Assembly. And I'll record and read the vote. Has everyone had opportunity to vote? Gotcha. All right, so voting will be closed. All right, so the agenda was approved anonymously, as you can see displayed on the screen. So now that we have amended our agenda, is there a motion to adopt the newly amended agenda?
Chair Swanson,
Yes, sir.
I move that we adopt the amended agenda.
So there's a motion by Mr. Hegarty to adopt the newly amended agenda for tonight. Is there a second?
Second.
Dueling seconds from Ms. Edmonds. All right. All in favor, we will record the vote to approve tonight's amended agenda. Oh, there it is. So it's already been taken care of?
We still have to vote.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll record.
And Vice Chair Chair Swanson, this would be a voice vote because we do have a member remote, correct?
I thought we would not have to do that because,
If the vote to approve the amended agenda cannot be recorded through Assembly,
okay,
we would
yes.
need to do a roll call vote.
Thank you for catching that. Yes.
Okay.
So this one will be, I misspoke. So this one, because we amended the agenda, is what threw me off. This one will be a roll call vote. So we'll start online with Ms. Rice.
Yes.
Coming around the table, Dr. Jobe? Ms. Gordon? Dr. Ing?
Aye.
Ms. Caulfield?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hershey? Mr. Hegarty?
Aye.
Ms. Edmonds?
Aye.
The chair also votes aye, so this passes unanimously. All right. So now, we will turn to our first information item, the NCCAT Beginning Teacher of the Year finalists, and we will turn to Mr. Keith Richardson, Director of Leadership Development. Welcome, Mr. Richardson.
Board Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, Superintendent Taylor, Board of Education members, good evening. I'm Keith Richardson, Director of Leadership Development in the Division of Talent Management and Human Resources. It is my pleasure to welcome and introduce members of the North Carolina Center for Advancement of Teaching, Dr. Brock Womble, Executive Director, Dr. Karen Sumner, Deputy Executive Director, and Superintendent Taylor, Board Member. They will come before you now for an exciting announcement regarding one of our district's beginning teachers.
Good evening, Superintendent Taylor and members of the Wake County Schools Board of Education. Would Molly Todd please come forward at this time? On behalf of the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, it is my privilege to announce that Molly Todd, an extended content standards teacher at Panther Creek High School, has been selected as a finalist for the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Welcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award. You don't have to memorize that to go forward. This recognition celebrates Ms. Todd's outstanding contributions as a beginning teacher and the meaningful impact she is already making on her students and the broader community here in Wake County Public Schools. I would like to recognize Gregory Decker, principal of Panther Creek High School, and Jennifer Ouellette, Wake County Schools Beginning Teacher Coordinator, for their support of Ms. Todd as well. I would also like to recognize Dr. Brock Womble, NCAT Executive Director, who came up with this idea and made it all happen, and we would not be here today celebrating Ms. Todd without his belief in this process and the importance of honoring beginning teachers. The Beginning Teacher of the Year Award was created to recognize the creativity, resilience, and commitment of first-year teachers across North Carolina. Each year, more than 7,000 new educators step into classrooms statewide, and this award shines a light on those who rise to the challenge and represent the very best of our profession. Ms. Todd will be attending a week of leadership-focused professional development with her fellow finalists in March, where interviews and portfolio review will be conducted by a panel of judges from across the state to determine the next Beginning Teacher of the Year. On Thursday, March 12th, NCAT will celebrate all finalists and announce the winner at a recognition event at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem. At NCAT, we are committed to advancing teaching as an art and a profession, and we're thrilled to celebrate Ms. Todd as a shining example of that mission. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Todd on this outstanding achievement, and we're pleased to provide you with this certificate recognizing you as an NCAT 2026 Burroughs Welcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year finalist.
One, two, three, big smiles.
Thank you so much.
And Chair Swanson, Miss Molly Todd is here tonight and supported by her mother, Roxanne Todd, Mr. Scott Todd, father, Dr. Greg Decker, principal of Panther Creek, Gina Williams, teacher, and her teammate, Miss Casey Otten, assistant principal of Panther Creek High School. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mr. Haggerty, I'll recognize you since this is a great school in your district for some comments.
Well, thank you. So, Ms. Todd, thank you for joining us here so that we can help celebrate this wonderful recognition with you. We're so appreciative of your choice to go into teaching, and especially to teach here in Wake County at, and I'm biased, a great school like Panther Creek High School. So thank you so much, Dr. Decker, Casey. Thank you for your great leadership at Panther Creek. And again, we also want to acknowledge the Borough's Welcome Fund for continuing to do amazing work here in Wake County in all of the STEM fields. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Chair Swanson.
Yes, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues. Thank you and congratulations, and look forward to all the great things that you're going to do, and great support system. And so thank you every day for the great work that you do to support our students. Thank you. All right. All right, so we will now turn to the public comments of our public comment portion of our agenda. Students will be heard first, following those commenting on items on tonight's agenda, and then speakers commenting on other topics. Only the person speaking at the podium will be able to stand. Again, all attendees that are not speaking, please remain seated. Concerns related to personnel issues or student matters may be addressed through the applicable WCPSS personnel, grievance policy, and any other applicable policies. The board welcomes all point of views, including criticisms, directed at substantive ideas, actions, or procedures. However, the board's public comment policy also requires that there should be order and decorum must be maintained. In the interest of maintaining order and decorum, speakers are encouraged to address their comments to the Board of Education and must refrain from personal attacks and insults directed at board members, individual board members, staff, or members of the general public. All commenters are asked to remember that children often attend these meetings and to keep their comments substantive and civil. Please remain at the podium during the time, and any materials that you wish to share, there should be a basket out at the front now that you can put your materials in, and we will give it to the board. During the public comments, you may speak up to 3 minutes. Please note that the microphones are adjustable, and when you see the green light illuminate showing you have 3 minutes have begun, a yellow light indicating that there are 30 seconds remaining, and when your time is up, you will see a red light and hear another audible tone. And we will move to the next speaker. Speakers are asked to respect the time and speak no more than 3 minutes. As you can see, we've also made some changes. Now you will be able to see where you lie as a speaker comment on for tonight. So we will start with our off agenda. And we'll start with our first student. Speaking tonight.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Arnav Chauhan. I'm a senior at Panther Creek High School, and I'm trying to make school cool again, starting with entrepreneurship education. So for some context, I started my first company a year and a half ago. We were doing AI video analysis for tennis players and runners. It started as a fun side project combining two of my passions, sports and technology, and I was able to scale it to a good amount of revenue. Additionally, I spent last summer working at a healthcare startup in San Francisco where I made my own position and was offered a return offer. And at that point, I was here, like August of 25, I was seriously considering dropping out of high school. I took a step back and I realized that me considering dropping out of high school means something is broken, like completely broken. And so my operating thesis currently is that more and more students are thinking school is a waste of time and there's better things they could be doing with their time, when school is meant to be a place where you can learn and explore and meet new people, and so something's broken. It's not the students, because they're going and doing extraordinary things outside of school, but school itself doesn't promote creativity and freedom of expression and like personal, just ways for students to choose the things that they learn in terms of things that interest them. Currently, I've spent quite a bit of time working on figuring out how to build more entrepreneurship education and make it easier to get higher quality entrepreneurship education in schools. You shouldn't have to fly to San Francisco to get the same thing. We're starting with the entrepreneurship course. I'm talking with NCID is a great resource in the state of North Carolina. They're one of the biggest entrepreneurial ecosystems, and they tie in all of the other ones around the state, and they have something called the Mindset Program. The Mindset Program has the Ice House curriculum, which basically teaches the entrepreneurial way of thinking. My proposal and question for you is, what is the best way to make sure that we can get something like the Ice House curriculum, which teaches the entrepreneurial skills that students need to succeed in today's world, into every single classroom, and then make school cool again? The other thing is AI literacy curriculums for teachers. What I've noticed at my school itself is teachers don't understand how AI works, and so they get scared of it, and so they don't use it, when it could be a very powerful tool for teachers to use. So my other question is, how do we make it more accessible for teachers to actually apply the things that they're learning? I know there's a digital literacy curriculum for teachers. It's all theoretical from what I've seen, and it doesn't really teach teachers how to use these tools in the day-to-day in their classrooms. I just flew in earlier today from out of town. I'm very busy. I haven't had time to make a proper speech, but these are some of the things I have in mind. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. And we will now turn to our next speaker. Who's the next speaker? Judith Bullock will be our next speaker. Is Judith in the room? Welcome.
I brought a letter, but I didn't know where I was supposed to put it to distribute to you. I missed that part of what you said.
Mr. Malone will take it
Okay.
today. But with the,
There's a copy for everybody. And in fact, it's one that y'all have already had copies from me. There you go.
it's out there.
Okay.
It's right there.
Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Judy Bullock, and I wanted to start out by commending all of you for your public service. It is not an easy thing to do. It isn't, and I want you to know, just as a citizen and a resident, I'm very grateful for your efforts, each and every one of you. I myself come from a background of public service, 30 years as an attorney for the federal and state governments. I actually started out as an Army JAG attorney back when I used to be a lean, mean fighting machine. Now I'm a retired service member with a service-connected disability. But just to let you know that I appreciate what you do. But most importantly, in my whole life, I'm a grandmom. And I'm a grandmom of a 4-year-old, a little boy named Ellis Cornell. I wrote to each and every one of you back in November is the date of this letter. And I also attached a copy of his picture to it, so you might remember it from that, because he's awfully cute. I couldn't resist. And basically, I'm here because at the age of 4, and as a level 3 autistic student, which means he's nonverbal and extremely disabled at this point, he's in the pre-K program at the Briar Creek Elementary School, and he was administered a 2-day suspension by the principal there, Eric Taylor, who seems to be a lovely man and a good principal. I don't want to come off as disagreeing necessarily with who he is as a person, but I will say that I believe that he and Wake County, frankly, and frankly the state of North Carolina, is implementing a very abusive suspension program that needs to be addressed. And the reason I'm here today is because I am going to try to do something about it, and it's really not just for my little 4-year-old grandson, who's totally adorable and worthy, but because there's a lot of other kids that are in the system that don't have grandmoms that are retired attorneys and don't have financial assets the way we do. I have retained a special education advocate, and they don't work cheap. I also have a special education attorney for him. So, everybody else can't do that. So basically why I'm here today is to ask you all, please, to respond to my letter in some way, because my next step is to go to the General Assembly. I know there's some pending legislation right now that's stuck in committee, like a lot of things are stuck in committee there. And I just want to be able to try to make the movement to abolish the process of pre-K suspension. It's not a good thing to do. It says here, suspension and
Thank you, Ms.
expulsion
Bullock. Thank you.
are
Your
not
time is
developmentally appropriate
expired.
practices.
Thank you. And Ms. Woodson is going to follow up with you regarding your letters and your concerns.
I really appreciate that
Thank
very
you.
much. And again, I say thank you because you all are really you're doing the Lord's work by being up and doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will now turn to our next speaker, Ms. Sherry Bodie, followed by Mr. Richards and then Mr. Deaton.
Good evening. I'm here to provide an update since the last time I spoke. Since then, I was informed by the board, by the district, that the bus driver's written statement, completed 28 days after the incident, is considered the best indication of what actually happened on the bus. That determination has not provided clarity for our family and does not resolve my primary concern regarding student safety and administrative handling of this incident, including documentation, communication, and evidence review. The 2025-2026 WCPSS Student Parent Handbook states in the bus conduct section that buses also have cameras on board to provide video and audio that school leaders may use to manage student behavior. Despite that, the use of this evidence has been unclear, which makes it difficult to understand what evidence was reviewed and how conclusions were reached. This is especially important given the documentation that I do have focuses primarily on my daughter's alleged behavior. If a report written nearly a month later is being treated as the best indication of events, it raises serious concerns about the reliability of the process. It also raises concerns about the evidence and how it was evaluated. In a matter involving student safety, there are expectations for clear documentation, consistent communication, and reliable evidence review. Those expectations have not been met in this incident, neither a timely, consistent, or clear. As I mentioned the last time I was here, systems matter, and when systems fail, families feel the impact. This is a system failure, and my family is feeling it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll now hear from our next speaker.
During my last public comment, I mentioned that Wake County has a problem when it's presented with facts. It likes to change its narrative. Said it happened to me before, it's happened to me again. So according to Wake County Public Schools, the police report I supplied them only contained information I provided to the police and didn't contain any statements made by school officials. The problem with that is that police report contained names that I didn't have. It contained dates I didn't supply. I presented this information to investigators through text message exchanges I had with other parents and employees, and they told me it didn't matter because they conducted a thorough investigation and take matters like this very seriously. I would actually like to point to Ms. Gordon. In one of our previous conversations, I told her I didn't know the substitute teacher's name. It magically appeared on the police report that I gave you. I don't understand how one parent asking very basic questions about very serious problems has exposed this many flaws in your system. At this point, I honestly don't know if it's just poorly run or if the system's broken. I know that as soon as I mentioned the word principal, the system automatically assumed I was wrong and you were right. I've had to stand here in public with insurmountable evidence before you even batted an eye. And now I'm being met with a system that's denying facts and disregarding reality. And after having heard some of you speak publicly about how other agencies in our government are doing that. I expected more out of you. But that's just, I guess that's just the reality of 2026. And all of this is to defend people who told me my son was violent. They said he lacked empathy, showed a flattened effect. They told me that he needed to be medicated. None of these people are medical professionals. And if he was such a monster, how come he hasn't run into any of these issues at his new school? I mean, and to separate from that, he has 3 in-school suspensions on his record we have 0 record of. One of those days, we have a text message that literally says he's not suspended or anything. On the second one, it says he had a great day, there's no issues today, magically suspended. The third one's a complete mystery. And this, it's not even the most egregious thing. You told me he was standing on a chair, kicking a kid in the face. Video evidence showed him he was innocent. You have my son being bullied. A kid threw his sandwich on the ground, and my son magically summoned the strength of a Power Ranger and sent that kid flying through the air. And none of this information was shared with us. It wasn't on his ECATS report. It's on a separate hidden document that parents don't have access to. Fix this.
Our next, we'll now hear from our final speaker.
I will now finish the horrible story of the abuse case that I've been going over in recent meetings. Durham school administrators violated the law by not reporting a teacher who grabbed a girl, instead suggesting he resign, whereupon he applied for a job in Wake County. The hiring principal in Wake naively accepted his story why he resigned midterm. When she called the Durham principal, he did not tell and she did not ask the real reason. Soon after he started in Wake, he molested an 11-year-old multiple times with utter cruelty. When a foul mess was left in the bathroom, the principal, who apparently had not been trained that abusers threaten to kill their victims if they tell, got very angry with the girl and suspended her. When her parents brought her back to school, she threw herself on the ground screaming. No light bulb went off in the head of this same principal who had negligently hired the predator that something else was going on. The girl did not return to school and for more than a year was emotionally disturbed and anorexic. She was down to 50 pounds at age 12, and her parents feared for her life. Here I must pause. If anyone who has suffered abuse hears me, there is nothing about you at all that deserved such treatment. I cannot explain why anyone would treat another human being that way. It is the mystery of evil in the world. Bad men committed those crimes by their own free will. But God loves you, and so do many people you may not even know. Finally, another victim from back in Durham came forward, and the teacher was arrested for sexual assault. After the Wake County child heard about it from a former classmate, she was finally able to tell her mother what that guy did to her. I pray for her recovery. Next time, I will offer specific recommendations to prevent this from happening again, like it just did in Rollsville in November. Thank you.
All right, we will now turn to the consent part of our agenda. Board members, please remember to sign in assembly to cast your votes. And I'll pause as I did earlier to ensure that the votes are reflected. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda? Oh, Vice Chair Hershey, sorry.
Make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
So there's a motion by Vice Chair Hershey to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hegarty. All right, all in favor, we will cast our vote to approve tonight's agenda. No, it's not on yet. Okay. Technology is being technology, so. There it is. All right, so the motion passes 8-1. All right. So now we'll turn to our action items. Our first action items is the recommendation for capping for the 26-25 academic school year. 26-27 school year. Thank you, Ms. Pulliam, for that correction. Welcome.
Good evening, Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, pardon me, Superintendent Taylor, and members of the board. I'm here tonight to request approval of the capping recommendations for the 2026-27 school year as presented at the Facilities Committee meeting on December 16th, 2025. These recommendations are the result of a thorough analysis of current and future capacity, enrollment projections, and a review of all available overcrowding management tools. Our goal remains to balance student enrollment with our existing facility resources effectively. Staff recommends removing the caps at 5 schools effective July 1st, 2026. And as we talked about in facilities, that's a new approach. Alston Ridge, Holly Grove, Parkside, and Scotts Ridge Elementary Schools, and Heritage High School. Crowding relief for these campuses has been achieved through strategic enrollment plan changes, additional regional capacity, and shifts in local demographics. In addition, staff recommends adding a cap to 1 school, Zebulon Elementary, effective July 1, 2026. Again, we discussed this is a new approach to give families in the school time to prepare for the cap. Staff also recommends designating Wake Lawn Elementary as the overflow school. The capped capacity for Zebulon Elementary, which we were not able to discuss at the Facilities Committee meeting, would be 678 students. This cap provides essential and temporary relief to the school. To support this recommendation, modular units will be added to Wake Lawn Elementary in the coming months to ensure that we have the necessary capacity in the region for these students. Finally, staff recommends maintaining the caps at the remaining 17 schools currently on the list. If approved, the total number of cap schools in our district will be reduced from 22 to 18. We will continue to monitor the impact of these decisions, particularly on our overflow schools, to ensure operational feasibility. At this time, staff requests the board's approval of the 2026-27 capping recommendations to take effect July 1, 2026. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there a motion to approve the 26-27 capping recommendations?
So moved.
It's a motion by Vice Chair Hershey. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Gordon. Any discussion? Comments or question? All right. Hearing none, the votes have been opened. So board members, if you could record your vote. Right. And we'll give it a moment for it to pop up on the screen. Are they? It did pass unanimously. I'm just waiting for it to, so the public can see, being as transparent as we can with
Thank you.
new system. So, all right. Was it a pot? Do we get any feedback? Just waiting to see if we can have the votes displayed on the screen. Okay. So it was unanimous. It's been approved. So, it's the first time we're utilizing this system, so everything is, you know how it is in education. You start something new, you have to, make it work. So we will practice to the best of our ability, but it has been approved.
Thank you very much. And we'll be meeting with the affected principals later this week, and then having support meetings with them following.
Thank
you
you
so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, so we will turn to our next action item. I can get my documents together. This is also Mr. Corrosive with, yes, for the topic that we discussed in work session to make our year-round schools, close our year-round schools in honor of the midterm primary election. Mr. Corrosive?
Good evening. Staff is here to make a recommendation for the 25-26 instructional calendar for multi-track year-round schools to have March 3rd, 2026, and non-instructional day for students, a teacher work day. We presented this information during the board work session today, and we answered questions from the board. This recommendation aligns with General Statute 115C-84.2, the North Carolina school calendar law, which requires 1,025 hours of instruction each year. Many of our schools serve as polling places, and in recent years, staff has attempted to make these days non-instructional days for students. Staff is available to answer any questions you have before this recommendation.
Great, thank you. Board members, is there a motion to approve the recommendation that was just presented to us?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Hershey, seconded by Ms. Caulfield. Any discussion, comments, or questions? All right, hearing none, we will record the vote. Okay. Let's see if we can get a message to Ms. Rice.
I'm here. Are we doing a voice vote?
No, I think if you can record your vote, it should be on your screen.
I don't see it. Hadn't popped up. I'm sorry. There we go. My fault.
All right, so the voting has been closed. All right, and now we'll share the vote. There we are. So this passed unanimously, so thank you, Mr. Carosa.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. All right. So we will now turn to our Chief of Staff is it Chief of Staff? Sorry, Academic Advancement. I have too many papers in front of me. Welcome, Dr. Johnson.
Good evening, Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, Dr. Taylor, Superintendent, and school board members. I'm here tonight to present the Memorandum of Understanding on behalf of the partnership between Wake County Public Schools and Wake Technical Community College. Before I begin, I'd like to introduce our Wake Tech partners that are here with us this evening. I'm going to ask them to stand and be recognized. First, Dr. Scott Rawls, President. Next, Dr. Nicole Reeves, Executive Vice President of Programs. Brian Gann, Vice President of Enrollment and Student Services. Scarlett Edwards, Associate Vice President of Enrollment Services. Santrell Kaysen, Dean of Admissions and Outreach. Elvin James, Associate Dean of Outreach. April Hemmons, Director of the Career and College Promise Program, and Dr. Sandra Williams, Chairman of the Wake Tech Board of Trustees. I just want to start by saying their collaboration and their expertise and their commitment and to our shared students that we have among us was vital into getting this MOU to its place and point of tonight. First, I'd like to share a little brief background of the MOU, and then I'm going to give Dr. Rawls also an opportunity to speak as well. So the purpose of the MOU is to establish the terms and conditions for operating the College and Career Promise Program, also known as CCP courses. This program is designed to offer structured opportunities for qualified high school students to dually enroll in community college courses that provide high school credit, also while giving students access to clearly defined pathways that may lead to certificate, diploma, associate's degree, or state or industry standard credentials. In addition, the program supports the development of entry-level job skills as established by North Carolina Session Law 2011-145. This agreement reflects our continued commitment to expand equitable access to post-secondary opportunities, strengthening our career readiness, and supporting student success through partnerships. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Rawls, President of Wake Tech Community College, to share a few remarks.
And I'll ask Sandra Williams, Dr. Sandra Williams, to join me to our board chair. But first, let me say thank you for having us tonight. Wake Tech, we have many, many partners. We kind of pride ourselves in partnering, but there's no partnership that's more valuable or important to us than Wake County Public Schools. And so we appreciate our colleagues and our partners here and the work we're able to collectively do. You know, dual enrollment, what we call CCP today, has a very unique history in North Carolina. It goes back many years, and the opportunities here for high school students to be able to take college courses free of charge is unique in North Carolina. We used to, years ago, refer to them as Huskins programs. About 25 years ago, dual enrollment in North Carolina became supercharged through the creation of early college high schools. And we share 4 early college high school partnerships together here in Wake County, which is unique. About 10 years later, the framework for Career and College Promise came together. At that time, I was president of the North Carolina Community College System, and my counterpart at the time was Dr. June Atkinson. And I saw her about a year ago, and she reminded me that she had the napkin for when we sat at a restaurant called Finch's, and if you're old enough to remember Finch's downtown, and sketched out what became the framework of Career and College Promise, and all that history going back many years before that. But the recent history of Career and College Promise in Wake County is also very unique. And today, this year in Wake County, we share through students and through the Career and College Promise Partnership this year 5,377 Wake County Public School students who have enrolled at Wake Tech as Wake Tech students through Career and College Promise and dual enrollment. And on top of that, 801 early college or high schools, our 4 cooperative innovative high schools on top of that. I doubt there's any system and college connection in the country, and there may be 1 or 2, but not many, where that scale and that amount of students exist in partnership between a school system and a community college. That number has increased significantly since 2021, grown by 153%, to where today, if we just took out our shared students, the Wake County, the public school students who are dually enrolled, that group of students would be the 12th largest community college in North Carolina if together they were a single college. So lots of things have happened, and more things are happening. And Dr. Taylor and I, we share a lot of work together as our staff does, and to reach this point today. So we're very proud of our colleagues who have brought forward this memorandum of understanding. We're particularly proud of the collaborative partnership that exists between Wake County Public Schools and Wake Tech, and opportunities that this partnership creates for enabling access and opportunity for students to start early in college and to continue on into college, whether through Wake Tech or other places that they go. So thank you. We're very honored to be here. I'm going to ask my board chair, Dr. Sandra Williams, to say a few comments.
Thank you, President Rawls. On behalf of the Board of Trustees at Wake Technical Community College, we are very excited and have always been excited about this collaboration. Wake County Public Schools has always been a great partner with us, and we're excited to continue that partnership. Now, on a personal note, CCP means a lot to me because my niece was one of the first ones who went through it in Richmond County, not Wake County, but Richmond County. She went on to UNC Wilmington, finished at UNC Wilmington, got her master's degree, and now she's an assistant principal in the Richmond County school system. So CCP means a lot to me personally, and again, we're excited about this collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, before you this evening is an action item for the final approval and signature of the MOU. We appreciate your consideration and continued support of this partnership, and if there's any questions, I can take those at this time.
Great. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the MOU between Wake Tech and WCPSS? Motion by Ms. Gordon. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Jobe. Any discussion? Comments? Well, I'll just say on behalf of the board, we are grateful for this partnership and very blessed that we have these relationships that benefits all of our students. And so grateful for this continued support and very excited to continue this relationship and collaboration. So looking forward for us to passing this MOU. So board members, the vote has popped up. If there's no other comments or questions? Okay, Ms. Caulfield?
I just want to say I personally have, I know plenty of students that have gone through these programs, and it is a wonderful program for our schools to partner with Wake Tech, and it just really helps a lot of students find direction. I think, sometimes in high school you're in a space where you don't know like where you want to go, what path you want to travel. And Wake Tech, for my family and for plenty of our friends, have definitely helped. So I appreciate this program, and I hope a lot more of our families take advantage of it.
Thank you. Ms. Edmonds?
I'm sorry, this is a technical thing. So on the pop-up, it does say the item number, but it doesn't give any text where the previous pop-ups did. I didn't know if that mattered for Ms. Allen's recording.
Ms. Allen said she's good and is able to record all the votes. All right, any other discussion? All right, well.
So, Mr. Chair, if I could just make one comment, and I know that Dr. Rawls has said it the best, but I just wanted to just reaffirm the wonderful partnership and relationship that we have with Wake Tech Community College, and I specifically want to thank you for your leadership along with Dr. Atkinson in making sure that we have what I believe is the most robust program in the nation, and his continuous commitment has been about how we expand this opportunity to every single student that is eligible in Wake County. So again, Dr. Ross, thank you for the friendship and thank you for your leadership, and thank you all.
All right. So the vote should be on your screen. All right, so the voting is, all right, so we'll give it a moment to pop on. There it is. So this was approved again unanimously, and we're looking forward to a continued collaboration. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. So our final action item tonight is the Wake AP Leadership Cohort Program. So we'll welcome Dr. Robinson and Mr. Enns, Southern Western Area Superintendent.
Good evening, Board Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, esteemed board members, and Superintendent Taylor. This evening, I present a request to continue the WCPSS investment in our leadership pipeline through the Assistant Principal Leadership Cohort Program for the 25-26 school year. This district-based program prepares high-potential assistant principals to serve as effective school executives. It is grounded in the North Carolina School Executive Standards. It's aligned with our strategic plan, and it emphasizes applied learning through capstone projects that directly support school improvement. This is a proven component of our broader leadership development system. To date, more than 177 assistant principals have participated, with over 45 graduates currently serving as principals across the district. The total cost for this work is reflected in your board documents and covers all training services for the remainder of the school year. This investment supports leading continuity, internal talent development, and long-term organizational effectiveness. Prior to seeking board approval, we are joined this evening by two current principals who completed the program and are here to share their perspectives. At this time, I will ask the Southwestern Area Superintendent, Mr. Enns, to make introductions, and immediately following the principal remarks, we'll be happy to respond to any questions you may have, and then following that, I'll be seeking approval at that particular time. Thank you. Mr. Enns?
Good evening, all. Board Chair Swanson, Dr. Taylor, and board members, thank you for entertaining us this evening. My name is John Enns, Southwestern Area Superintendent. Before I turn it over to our two distinguished guests, just a quick note, Dr. Taylor gave a broad, or Dr. Robinson rather, gave a broad overview of the value of the current principalship pipeline. Just to bring this down to the surface level just a little bit, we've been entertaining the Wake AP Leadership Cohort Program. This is its 7th year. It is designed specifically to grow the leadership capacity of our assistant principals. Dr. Robinson's numbers are correct. A little over a third of the participants that have graduated have gone on to become either principals. The part that we've left off is some have also matriculated into central office roles as well. We don't formally share that data, but it's useful for consideration. Assistant principals are nominated based on a set criteria annually, and they are selected after they apply and go through a rigorous application process. Annually, we take 28 of our assistant principals who go through an entire year throughout this Wake AP Leadership Development Program. Activities involved within this program, and I'm not going to steal any of the thunder as the principals behind me will share their personal insights, but they do include leadership coaching, a capstone project, a 360 disc survey, book study, work on executive presence in particular, simulated learning experiences, case studies and vignettes, and there's an alumni networking activity because once they quote-unquote graduate at the end of every year, that learning doesn't stop. We offer that networking opportunity so that they continue learning over the summer as well. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to two principals, Miss Roseanne Todd. That last name should ring a bell. She was just here celebrating with her daughter with the Borough's Welcome Fund Award. So congratulations again, Miss Todd, to your daughter. She's the principal at White Oak Elementary School. The apple obviously doesn't fall too far from the tree. And Mr. Douglas McCullough, who's the principal at Salem Middle School, both outstanding principals who will share their experiences.
Good evening, Board Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, Dr. Taylor, and all of our wonderful school board members. We talk so much about how the research validates time and time again the power of having a dedicated, passionate, and talented leader affects the learning and outcomes for every learner in a school. And I have to stand with my testimony that this program, the AP Leadership Cohort Program through RTI, made a significant difference through my development now to be able to serve in the principal chair and support my learners. Many of the structures of the RTI program were very systemic. They grounded us in our why. We talk about that many times through our career, but when we're at junctures, especially in leadership, we need to refocus what our why will guide us to do right now. So we had opportunities like the DISC assessment that Mr. Enns spoke about that explored our leadership styles. And we talked about our strengths as well as our areas for growth. We leverage our strengths for our growth, and then we explored how our specific talents then could lead us to that end in mind of serving all students. We were able to look at a systemic level. When you live as an assistant principal, most of your life is in that managerial. You manage buses and you do the schedules and you work on attendance. And it's a very big cognitive mind shift to go from that role then to lead a school. And this RTI program helped us systemically walk through how we do that from our chair as an assistant principal to that onerous but very important chair as a school leader. So they took us from our why, our end in mind of serving all students, and then we stepped back to build the skills to get to that end in mind. The case studies we worked through helped us to an unknown school, just like we would do as a principal. You walk into a new setting and have to learn the data, the culture, all the pieces that could lead to school improvement. Then we worked in that cohort on teams on skills, how to take this fictitious school from where it was to where we want it to be for all learners. Within this whole process of these pieces, the RTI program helped us to build reflective practice. And that's so important in any position, but especially as a school leader. We're impacting humans. And our whole job is to build every learner that's put there in our care. And that requires the time to sit back and honest reflection. And that very transparent, honest reflection of where we are, how we're doing, what our struggles are, and then how we address them. And that's a reflective practice that I've applied every day in my principalship now. Might be on my way home, but it's a time that I take every day to do that. We also had the opportunity to have exposure to the different area superintendents, and listening to their leadership journeys helped us talk through and understand where we want our journey to go as well. It's important to know where we are, our purpose, and then learning from others who do incredible work in this county, how they get there. So I have to give a wholehearted endorsement for this program. As an assistant principal, it was one of the most impactful pieces that I took part in, and felt very, very fortunate that I work in a whole school district like Wake County that builds our leaders and looks at the succession plan, because as our principals retire, we want to make sure that we all are in cohorts and work to keep the good work going. So thank you all for your consideration, and Mr. McCullough has great things to say.
Good evening. I guess I could just say ditto, because Roseanne covered a lot of it. And I think I will speak to a few of the activities that we got to participate in through the RTI Institute, and just really allowing us to have the time. And I think that was the biggest thing that I really took away. And when we talk about this being an investment, we love to say as principals we have the best job in the world. We do not have the hardest job in the world. Assistant principals have the hardest job in the world. And so as an assistant principal, you don't get a lot of time. You don't get a lot of time to reflect. You don't get a lot of time to think about your vision. You don't get a lot of time to think about all the things that we heard today, all the comments that I heard today. I thought about that as a principal. As an AP, I was thinking about getting my observations done, getting the buses set up, getting all the problems taken care of. And that's great for running a school, but that doesn't move our schools for our kids. And in order to move our schools for our kids, we have to have an investment of a process that allows our assistant principals with promise to have the time to do deep reflection, to develop their executive presence, to know what it means to stand in front of whether it's parents or students or teachers, and really get them to believe in the vision that we've set forth as a district and as your school. And I can't thank enough the opportunities that we got through the RTI Institute to do that, whether it's through the book studies that taught us about how to work on dysfunctional teams and how to move our teams, whether it's a PLC or whether it's an admin team or whether it's a case study or our capstone project. I think the capstone project is a beautiful way to help our assistant principals start to think about what it means to lead a school. You don't have an opportunity to always input your own vision on things as an assistant principal, and the Capstone Project gives you that opportunity to take your creation, your vision for a school, and implement it in your school. That process from year to year is invaluable for our APs. And as being an AP for over 4 years and working with Mr. Enns, we know you are supporting someone else's vision, but when you walk into that principal role, you have to have that vision to align with your teachers, your students, your community, and the RTI Institute really gives you a lot of tools to be able to do that in a way where I had a conversation with Enns years ago, and he says, you're never ready. You're never ready. But the RTI Institute allowed me to feel more ready than I think I would have ever been without that. So I appreciate the consideration for continuing this investment in our leadership, in our students, and in our district. Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to open it up for any questions that you guys may have.
Great. Is there a motion to approve to adopt the Wake Wake AP Leadership Cohort Program?
Motion to approve?
It's been motioned by Ms. Edmonds. Is there a second? Second for Ms. Gordon. Any discussion? Mr. Vice Chair Hegarty. I'm sorry, Vice Chair Hershey.
Something
Sorry.
like that. That's okay. So I love the program. I love that we're growing our own, and I'm wondering if, how we're measuring the success of it, people who have gone through the program versus people who are not. And then I'm also wondering is if our area superintendents are utilizing it enough when they're hiring principals versus, expanding outside of Wake County or any other avenues they go when they hire, and that's for an area superintendent also.
Vice Chair Hershey, those are some of the questions that we would love to answer at this time, but one of the things that we'll share with you that area superintendents are utilizing it in totality to make sure not only do we have qualified candidates, but when there are vacancies, people that go to the cohort are pretty much given an opportunity through the vetting process to see if they fit the mold or the profile of what we're looking for in the vacancies that we're trying to fill. I think there's still some more opportunity as we unpack it even more. How can we quantify and create metrics to ensure that we can determine the success of the program and how it's impacting schools? So that would be information we can definitely bring to the board at a later date, and hopefully in a work session, so that we can really dive into it. Yes, sir.
Ms. Edmonds.
The cost that's listed in the agenda item, is that for one person, or how many APs does that cover?
Well, that covers the program for the whole year. And so as Mr. N shared with you, he quantified and gave you a number of how many participants we have. 28 participants, and that's what it covers.
Okay, I apologize, I missed that, thank you.
Any other? Ms. Coffey, did you have a?
No, she just asked me.
Okay. Any other comments? Well, I know this is a way of really us building our own, investing in our own, and so it's very grateful and thankful that Dr. Robinson was able to pull this from consent to action for us, so we could highlight this to encourage more APs to participate to help get the word out here, so we can continue to grow our pipeline and have phenomenal principals like Principal Todd and Principal McCullum, who I will say when Principal Todd, AP Todd was a phenomenal AP at Green Hope Elementary, and I had the opportunity of really, is it Green Hope?
Oh, Davis Drive.
Davis Drive, that's right, sorry, Davis Drive. Grateful for your leadership, and always grateful for you all to, really for us to put faces to the programs, which is very important, so folks can see themselves in this. So I look forward to supporting this, and hopefully we can get others to really talk about the success of this and really show how Wake County is really investing in our own talent as well. So thank you all. Mr. Hegarty.
And Chair Swanson, I apologize. I hate to come after you after such an eloquent benediction of an endorsement of the program. I do want to put all of this, though, in context with the discussion that we had earlier today, both in our Budget and Finance Committee and as we talked about the crisis facing students right now who don't have enough to eat. And while I think we've heard two wonderful endorsements of people who've directly benefited from the program and how their experience will go and benefit all of the students within their schools and all of their professional relationships, I believe this program has value, definitely has value. I want to suggest, though, that as we go forward into this budget year and we're looking to prioritize projects, as I look at the specific contract and I see the expenses in here for alumni networking sessions and similar things, which are some of the largest components of the bill that RTI is charging, that we may want to look in the future of the program, are there some aspects of the program that we can bring in-house and maybe reduce those costs so that we can continue this very valuable program, even if some of the features might be a little more modest. So again, I support the program, I will endorse it, but I think in context of the costs and everything else that we're talking about going forward, we may want to try to bring it back in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's why you are the budget chair, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. You mentioned that it was for 28 people that it was going to serve, and you said it was for this year. So we're already like halfway through January. So this is, I guess we're adding, if I'm reading this correctly, we're adding 81,000, so the total year expense will be 136.
Correct, that's the total year expense. So some of the expenses were already paid, and we wanted to make sure that this got in front of the board, so that the board would know and understand the work that's being done. Instead of having it split, now you see it in totality to make sure that we get board approval moving forward. So that's for the remainder of the 25-26 school year. So some of the work has already been done, and in order to continue doing the work, we had to bring it to the board to get the board approval for the remainder funds to go into the program.
Okay, and I do agree with Mr. Haggerty, because we're going to have some pretty tough conversations going ahead. And I just want to know, you said you can't measure it right now for us to know how effective this is. Can we get a broad picture of how many people we have in this kind of training program altogether, and how much that costs us?
Absolutely, but I want to make sure that I understand, when you say broad picture, we shared that there was 177 participants, and out of the 177 participants, over 45 plus are now principals. And so when you ask for the broad picture, can you provide me a little bit more context of what you want, and we will definitely bring it to you.
So how much we spend a year on something like that? I mean, and like Mr. Haggerty said, we're worrying about how we're going to get chicken instead of vegetables and water in front of the kids, and, we have all these different things it's very important what we're doing, and it does sound like a great program, but I think it's just helpful as a reflective tool for us to see what do we spend each year, and how many people does it serve, and what do we see from it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Any other comments or discussions? All right. Hearing none, the vote should be recorded, or as popped up on your screen. If you will record your votes. All right, we're just waiting for one. All right. Are we still waiting? Okay.
And Chair Swanson, if you don't mind, I would like to provide Ms. Ains the opportunity to provide closing remarks.
Sure.
She's been a conduit to make sure that this program continues.
Sure.
So, sir.
Thanks again for your consideration. We know that current and growing leadership, especially out of the Wallace Foundation, points definitively to the idea that we know that the primary driver of student success is the teacher in the classroom. You're never going to replace that. What the new research continues to support is the principal is second to that effort to ensuring that student outcomes are being met at the highest level. And in order to do that, we believe strongly that a pipeline that supports the development and growth of an AP before we give them the proverbial keys to the cars is really important. And as of now, this is all we've got. And so we do appreciate your consideration. Having said that, we're in the same boat as you. We recognize the fiscal constraints that reside before us, and whatever we can do to do both simultaneously, honoring the austere environment that we may be approaching while maintaining this program, we'll do our best effort, because we recognize that both are important. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Allen, has the votes been recorded? All right, the votes are closed. Just give it a moment to process. All right, so it has been approved unanimously, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, so we will now turn to our information items, which will start with our superintendent comments, followed by board member comments. So Dr. Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening and Happy New Year. I hope everyone's 2026 is off to a strong start. Before I get into my written comments, I do want to thank the board for their engagement on the budget exercise, and hopefully our public will see that the board is absolutely in tune to some of the budget decisions that we will have to make in the upcoming year. And I do hope that our citizenry uses this as an opportunity to encourage those government entities that can support public education in a very real way, that they do that work so that districts won't be in a position to where they have to make decisions with little or no information. So I do want to appreciate the board's effort in that work. As we begin the year, I want to acknowledge Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which was observed yesterday, and to look ahead to Holocaust Remembrance Day on January 27th. Both are important moments for reflection and learning across our schools. These observances give students opportunities to better understand how both the Civil Rights Movement and the Holocaust shaped our world and continue to influence the society we live in today. They also ask students to think critically about responsibility, courage, and the consequences of individual and collective choices. We recognize that these topics can be challenging, especially for younger learners, which is why our teachers are provided with age-appropriate resources, guidance, and instructional support. In elementary grades, instruction around Dr. King focuses on fairness, leadership, and positive change aligned to state standards and developmental readiness. At the middle and high school level, students engage more deeply with historical context, primary resources or sources, and thoughtful discussion, including learning about the Holocaust through carefully selected resources. Our goal is not only to teach history, but to help students learn how to ask questions, listen respectfully, and engage in meaningful dialogue. This work reflects our broader commitment to helping students become well-informed, thoughtful, and productive citizens. That includes producing graduates who can think critically and courageously about difficult issues and who understand their role in shaping a more just and humane society. I'm grateful to our teachers for approaching this work with care, professionalism, and a focus on understanding and positive action. Next, I'd like to tell you about an upcoming opportunity to learn more about our unique Future Teachers program. A virtual information session will be held on January 29th at 5 p.m. for interested students and families. The program is for graduating Wake County seniors, as well as for the first and second year college students who are enrolled in teacher preparation programs at local colleges and universities. This session will explain the application process and allow participants to hear directly from current teachers about their experiences in the program. The Future Teachers program, which began in 2015, supports young people who plan to major in education and commit to returning to teach in our district. Participants receive guaranteed teaching positions in our district, tailored professional learning, and stipends up to $4,500 over 4 years. While this is not a scholarship program, it provides intensive mentoring, professional networking, and structured summer learning opportunities. In return, participants commit to remaining in good academic standing and teaching in the Wake County Public School system for at least 3 years after licensure. This program remains an important part of our long-term strategy to grow our own educators and strengthen the future of our workforce. Learn more and register for the information session by visiting our Facebook page or going to our website and searching Future Teachers Program. I also want to recognize Dr. Roxanne Sykes, principal of Dillard Drive Magnet Elementary School, who has been named the Wake County Public School System Magnet Principal of the Year. Under Dr. Sykes' leadership, Dillard Drive was named the National Merit School of Excellence by Magnet Schools of America, an honor reserved for a small number of magnet schools demonstrating across-the-board excellence. Dr. Sykes has been instrumental in implementing and growing the school's global studies and Spanish immersion magnet thing. And if you ever have an opportunity to go to Dillard Drive and experience kindergartners and first graders speaking in Spanish, it is a wonderful sight to see. In just 4 years, she has helped build a strong, sustainable magnet program that reflects both academic rigor and a welcoming school culture. Families and staff consistently describe Dr. Sykes as accessible, transparent, and deeply committed to students and educators. Congratulations to Dr. Sykes on this well-deserved award. I'm grateful for the leadership and care she brings to her school community each and every day. Finally, I'd like to congratulate the students and staff at Broughton Magnet High School who made the 9th annual Play for K charity basketball tournament another huge success. The event raises funds for the K. Yao Cancer Fund, which honors the life and legacy of the former NC State women's basketball coach who died in 2009 after a courageous cancer battle. Coordinated by students in Broughton sport and event marketing classes, the Play for K tournament, held on January 9th, raised more than $39,000 for the K. Yao Cancer Fund. That's $9,000 more than last year, bringing the total raised over the years to approximately $145,000. Last spring, these students in their school were recognized at the 2025 Women's Final Four in Tampa as one of the top K-12 pay-for-play fundraisers in the nation. We want to make sure they have funds to take the superintendent next year for the next recognition. But this video captures the heart behind that work and shows what's possible when students are empowered to lead and serve. And so now let's take a look at the video.
So this is Brown's 9th annual Play for K event, and my sport and event marketing 2 students planned this event. We started in October. They reached out to local community businesses and gotten some auction items donated. They've designed t-shirts. They are planning the actual event, the whole event. We're going to honor survivors. Survivors and Warriors at the halftime of the women's game tonight, and we're just trying to raise some money for the K. Yao Cancer Fund so that we can find a cure for all cancers affecting women. So it's become the class project for my sport and event marketing 2 students. I think a great way to do the curriculum and raise some money for a great cause in the process.
So we were actually a part of the Sport and Event Marketing 2 class last year where we got to plan this whole event and plan it, which was a very cool experience. And we've helped set up all this and all the banners in the gym, which is a very fun experience.
It makes us feel awesome to just be a part of behind the scenes of the event and then playing in the game and putting on a show for everyone also. It feels great for us to know that we've raised all this money for cancer affecting all women and that it's a really cool experience to be a part of.
They're going to do proof of performance to tell all the sponsors, like, we promised you this is how we delivered. And then when they go do their internship, most of these students have to do an internship, so they already know how to do an email. They already know how to follow up. They know how to talk to an adult that's not as scary because they've done that through this process. And they've made some connections in the community to network. So I think that networking piece is really big. And it was all the safety net of this project. And I think when you poll my students, most of them know somebody that has been touched by cancer. So that's our motivation, is to one day not have to do this because we found a cure, and maybe we'll find a different cause to get behind. And
Comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. We'll start on this side of the table with Dr. Job.
Thank you, Chair Swanson. I want to first take a moment to thank Dr. Robinson and all of the staff here for organizing such a thorough orientation for me. For 12 hours, I got a deep dive into the Wake County system, and I'm even more impressed with how things are run now. So I feel like I'm really hitting the ground running. I'd like to recognize Holly Springs High School. Their cheerleading squad just brought home first place in the Tri-Six Conference cheerleading championships. And I want to thank the Lufkin Middle School PTA for inviting me to their last meeting. It was really interesting to hear about what the school is doing, and I got to meet their incredible principal, Miss Hannah, who's amazing, and see just how the community is coming together. I got to see how Ms. Snyder, their media specialist, has been labeling all of the books by genre, thanks to money they raised by the book fair. And I also got to hear about how the students started a food pantry and raised over $6,000 in December for it. And they are actually serving 59 Lufkin families in that food pantry across all 4 tracks. And so it's really great that the community is coming together for that. Lufkin's just one of the schools that held food drives over the past few months, and it's really highlighting the increasing need of our county amid rising food costs. Speaking of rising food costs, we are now closing in on 203 days without a state budget. Because our legislators have not performed this essential duty, our teachers are having to buy more expensive groceries without their promised raises. And moreover, Wake County students have an incredible staff here who are trying to plan for their needs and how to provide an education that fully prepares them for their futures without even knowing what the 25-26 budget is, never mind what the 26-27 budget will be. So I really encourage everyone to, from parents to business leaders to all stakeholders in the county, to please pay attention to the budget or lack thereof and encourage your legislators to act. Thank you.
Ms. Gordon.
Thank you. Tonight, I would like to lift up something deeply meaningful that I experienced over the holiday break. I had the opportunity to visit North Carolina's first Black-owned children's bookstore, Liberation Station, owned by Miss Victoria Scott Miller, located right on Hill Street near the historic St. Aug campus. Liberation Station isn't just a bookstore. It's a community-built learning space of literacy, joy, and belonging, and a living affirmation for our children. Their brilliance, their imagination, their identity, and their place in the world. And I encourage everyone to go check them out. I also had the pleasure of attending the Elementary Magnet School Fair. It was energizing to see schools showcase their themes, their cultures, and the innovative learning pathways that they offer. What struck me the most was the excitement, families imagining their children in environments full of play, creativity, exploration, STEM, arts, you name it, all of these experiences. And I even got to talk to the magnet coordinator from my elementary school, Powell Elementary School. And as I walked through the fair, I kept coming back to this core belief. Every school in Wake County has something special about what's in their building. While our magnet programs inspire the district, they do not stand apart from it. The joy, the innovation, the culturally engaging experiences, the hands-on learning, the global perspectives, the high expectations we highlight in magnets, we should make those present, and we are working on making those present in every school, in every zip code, for every child. Our responsibility as a board is to move our entire system toward the highest level of excellence and opportunity. So, I have homework for everyone listening. So with February, Love Month, coming up, I would like to encourage students and parents to email your board representative with what you love most about your school. And then that brings me to the importance of something we see every time we gather here, public comment. I want to acknowledge every parent, every teacher, every student, every community member who shows up in this room or on social media to speak. I had the opportunity to engage with a couple of my peers on social media around board decisions and their input as parents. Advocacy is powerful. Advocacy is a form of love. When parents come to speak, whether it's here at the podium or online, whether they are advocating for equity, their resources, for safety, for advanced courses, extracurricular programs, they are demonstrating hope and engagement in our public schools. Public comment is not just a procedural step in our meetings. It is a reminder that decisions made in this room must be informed by the voices closest to the classroom and at home. Our policies are better when they reflect lived experience, and our schools are stronger when families feel empowered to speak up. So tonight, I want to encourage our community to keep showing up. Visiting Liberation Station reminded me that liberation begins with storytelling. Whether it's storytelling from a magnet school perspective or storytelling from a parent's point of view, that change begins with speaking up. Thank you to everyone who continues to tell your stories and use your voice for our students. And finally, my last announcement is we will have our District 2 Board Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, February 18th at 6 p.m., and it will be held at South Lakes Elementary, and more information forthcoming. Thank you.
Dr. Ng.
Thank you. Good evening. First, I wish to express my regret that I was not able to attend the mid-year graduation ceremony at Millbrook High School last Thursday. I had a conflicting school board business, and that made it impossible for me to attend the celebration. But I do want to congratulate all the graduates for their hard work and their important initiative in stepping boldly into their plans for their future, whatever that may be. I know, in the past years, I've seen people who have, gone to work already. Some of them have gone into the military, and so it's important for us to celebrate their lives. I was able to attend the community meeting on January 8th at Ligon Middle School. It's not one of my schools in my district, but I thought it was important for me to be there. At least for part of it. I was there for part of the time, and I was able to hear some of the feedback from the community about their opinion on the future of the school. And since then, we have all received emails from concerned Ligon parents. One word that keeps coming back to me over and over again is the word legacy. And just a little background, during 2022, when I was running for the school board, there was a torrential rain and a giant oak tree fell on my house and literally cut the roof in half like a piece of cake. And it rained that night, and first and foremost, my family was safe. Nobody was hurt. The house was damaged terribly, and then the rain caused more damage. The water came in, and overnight all we could hear was the ceiling collapsing on us in our master bedroom. And my wife was crying, and we were just praying that it was not going to be more damage. But at the end of that night, we realized that there was a lot of damage. But still, the important thing was no one was hurt. The house was able to be patched up, and we ended up selling it to a builder. And if you had gone to a parade of homes, it was one of the homes in Northridge that was on display. We had a lot of great memories in that house. However, in my mind, the memories that were made there in that house, they were all centered on the individual themselves. When I think about the good times and the bad times, I think of the faces of my loved ones, not the house. Buildings do deteriorate, and in my case, it was clear that the building was not serving our families anymore. So what I'm trying to say is, what is the essence of the Ligon legacy that we should honor? Is it about the building itself, or is it about the people who populated the halls of that building? There are thousands of stories that took place in that school, and I'm sure that there will be thousands more that will take place in the future. Whatever the final decision may be, we have to find a way to remember and honor the people who made this school what it is today. And I look forward to receiving more feedback from the community and our final vote. Thank you.
Ms. Caulfield.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. My comments this week are really short. We had to reschedule due to snow our last board advisory committee, so the new one is coming up this Monday at Zebulon Elementary School. We will be doing some breakouts and getting some input from our community there. And I wanted to congratulate all of the mid-year graduates that are either just graduated or about to graduate. That's going on now. We wish you the best of luck and everything that your future holds. And that's all I have to say for this week.
All right. We'll turn around to this side, and we'll start with Ms. Rice, who is virtually participating. Ms. Rice.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a meaningful and happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that you were able to participate in some level of service to others, honoring the Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy through action, compassion, and community care. I want to begin by sharing an important invitation. While I will not be able to attend in person, I encourage you to please join us for our next District 4 Board Advisory Council meeting on February 9th at Rogers Lane Elementary School, beginning promptly at 6:30. We are honored to welcome our esteemed guest facilitator, Dr. Janine Perry Campbell, who will lead a meaningful community-centered conversation. I hope many of you will be able to take advantage of this opportunity to engage and connect in the District 4 community. Before I transition to my wellness focus, I want to sincerely thank all who have reached out with care, prayers, and encouragement. For those who may not be aware, in December, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had surgery on New Year's Eve, and I'm grateful to share that all cancer has been removed. So, Dr. Taylor, I was not expecting you to highlight and talk about cancer tonight. But thank you for sharing that for so many other families who may not even be in the situation that I am in recovery. I share for this clarity and transparency. Over the past several weeks, I've had to decline speaking engagements and community events, and some may have wondered about my absence or received an auto response or voicemail indicating a return on March 1st. While my participation has shifted to a more virtual capacity during recovery, I remain fully engaged and committed, as you see this evening. This season has required me to practice exactly what I share during our first and third Tuesdays, 8 Dimensions of Wellness Focus. In order to live well and continue doing what I love, I must take care of myself first. I encourage each of you to do the same. Know your body, listen to it, and seek appropriate care early. Wellness is not optional, it is essential. So tonight, my 8 Dimensions of Wellness focus is occupational wellness. 2 simple yet impactful tips to help decrease stress in the workplace are: let's establish and honor healthy boundaries, knowing when to pause, delegate, or say no so your work remains sustainable. Number 2, build intentional moments of restoration into your workday, whether through brief movement, breathing, or stepping away to rest. As you reflect on occupational wellness, I invite you to consider this question: are you thriving in your work or simply clocking in and clocking out? I can truly say that I am thriving and deeply grateful for the work I do and for the colleagues who have checked on me, prayed for me, and reminded me to practice the same wellness behaviors I encourage in each other. Let us continue to focus on reducing stress, supporting one another, and leading by example so that we can serve our students, staff, and community well. Thank you. As always, make sure you're having positive and productive days.
Thank you. Ms. Edmonds.
Thank you. I still have to schedule my next 2 BACs, the last of this school year, and I expect to have the next one on the calendar by the end of the week. If it doesn't show up on the website, I know Ms. Allen will do it as soon as she possibly can, but do look for that. So I'm still working on that date, so I can't announce it, but it's coming soon. I want to also congratulate the mid-year graduates. I'm excited to celebrate those at Athens Drive High School and Middle Creek next week. And thank you, Dr. Taylor, for talking about Dr. Sykes. I was not aware of this honor, and I can't say the words, she's one of my favorites, because you're not supposed to do that, but she does have a special light that I love going to visit her and her staff, and I'm not surprised to learn about this. So I'm excited to learn more, and thank you for lifting her up. The last thing I'll say is about the budget discussion that we had. There are choices being made at the state level. You've heard me talk about them before, but I'll mention them again. Our corporate tax rate is set to be completely eliminated by 2030, and some budget analysts and experts say that that's going to cost North Carolina $800 million in 26-27 and $900 million annually. And that's a significant hit by a choice to allow corporations that do business in our state not to contribute a dime to public goods and services, including our public schools. Another choice that is being made by the General Assembly is to give an obscene amount of money to private school vouchers. That's a common theme for me, and I'm not going to stop beating that drum. Wake County alone got, private schools in Wake County got $56 million in taxpayer-funded vouchers in the 24-25 school year alone. $56 million for Wake County private schools. Thales, for example, which has 12 campuses, got $14.4 million. So let's keep that in mind as we have these discussions going forward, because we're being forced to make choices that hurt students and hurt educators as a result of choices being made by state lawmakers, and that needs to change, and we have the opportunity to do that in 2026. Thank you.
Mr. Hegarty.
Thank you, Chair Swanson. So I'm just going to piggyback on Ms. Edmonds' points. You know, when you don't fund public schools with state tax dollars, as required by the state constitution, you pass those costs back down to local governments and the counties. And this results in higher property taxes, which concerns citizens, particularly the elderly, those whose homes might be their only real source of equity and investment. And so they reach out to state lawmakers who right now are considering addressing this problem by putting state limits on county property taxes. So, you know, we're getting pushed into territory we haven't seen in modern times in North Carolina regarding education funding. And I don't want to be alarmist, but I also can't ignore what's going on in front of us, and that's why we're having really frank discussions in these budget committees and eventually in our work sessions and before this board about what we can and can't continue to fund. And I hope that people are taking notice. You know, this month we had protests across the state, January 7th, January 13th, hundreds of teachers coming out and just trying to advocate for the needs they have in their schools and to keep our schools fully, not even fully funded, but just fully staffed, right? Because we all know that the teachers aren't doing this for, you know, monetary gain as much as they do for love of the children and love of their jobs, but they got to eat. And the demands that they put out there, you know, all of these are reasonable, whether we can pay for all of them at the state level or not. These aren't even being debated. But things like longevity pay, unfreezing step increases, restoring, you know, the master's pay, which we did in this state for years and then recently removed. How do you address rising health care costs? How do you, you know, if with the premiums going up but salaries being flattened, you know, the fact that we eliminated a lot of those retirement benefits that were sort of the trade-off, that many state employees would work for a lower wage now but would have the security of a secure retirement. You know, we heard today about the growing costs it takes to educate each individual student. Costs like, you know, the increase in utility costs, the increase in insurance costs, the increase for feeding our kids with, you know, with those meal costs. You know, even if we don't add one new educational program for the betterment of our kids' education, it's going to continue to cost more and more every year just to operate our schools. And so at some point, I hope, I have an idea when, but I'm not going to speculate, the deadlock, our legislative deadlock will be broken, and I'm hoping that our legislature will embrace the state budget proposals that provide more money for public education. And I hope future proposals will address some of these just dire needs that we have to keep schools up and operating and fully staffed. So I appreciate all of the work all of you are doing. I know that we're going to have some tough decisions to make in order to stretch our dollars as far as we can. With these challenges, there are going to be valuable programs that we may not be able to continue to fund, but I hope we'll come together and identify our shared priorities about what we can continue to keep in operation and finding new and innovative ways to continue to support our students. So thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hershey.
Thank you, Chair Swanson. I will be brief as well. As it was brought up during an earlier conversation, I did want to give an update on the Share Table program. I was at Root Elementary School a couple of weeks ago where it was being introduced there. I believe we're up to about 25 schools now in the school district with the 4th and 5th stage rollouts coming up, and I'm excited for the continued expansion of it. I know the team there continues to meet with the state to see how we can better improve the overall system as far as being able to get this program into all schools, the foods we can collect and redistribute. And I want to make sure that we are encouraging the schools that have it to maintain it and understand the position we're in, and occasionally just, reach out to them and say, how's it going? Because it's been very successful, and it's going to take, a commitment from the schools to carry it forward beyond just that kind of honeymoon period of when it's going on. A lot of food is collected, and a lot of food goes right back out before even the end of the day. So it has been successful, and I want to lift that up. And then I just want to wish Ms. Caulfield luck that she doesn't have to cancel the next BAC meeting. You said it was Monday. Good luck with that. And I will close just by saying, be good.
All right. So I want to try to get all my notes together and make sure I don't forget anything. So if I do forget something, please charge it to my head and not my heart. But I want to start by thanking the mayors who participated in the roundtable discussion with us for their robust discussion that we were able to participate in, talking about future collaborations and strengthening those partnerships. So very grateful for all of those mayors and looking forward to some of those upcoming discussions. I also want to thank Mr. Tucker and the Arts Department for hosting a robust and exciting and engaging BAC meeting with us last week at Morrisville Elementary, which was very engaging, of highlighting the arts, as well as bringing in those local artists who are in our schools daily to talk about what it means and how the arts are shaping the lives of our students. So I will say that was a great one. So if you do need a topic, Mr. Tucker has a great treat up your sleeve if you choose to engage with him in that topic. Also wanted to recognize and thank some of the art ambassadors that participated. They were Cary High students, Molly and, trying to find my notes here, Molly and Hannah, who are part of the arts ambassadors representing Cary High. So hearing their perspective of how the arts shaped their lives and how they were able to bring some of those skill sets that they learned in the arts to applying to their everyday lives was very impactful. And so thanks to the Morrisville Elementary, Principal Burton, and the Morrisville PTA for hosting and providing a delicious meal for the principals in District 9. Also want to thank the Cary Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to speak with their education committee about the work of Wake County Schools and how we can partner and really build in those partnerships. And so it's my goal as chair to help strengthen and bring those voices to the table so we can leverage as many community partners as possible. So looking forward to their discussion, and also and thanking them in advance for their Honor a Teacher program, where they honor teachers in Cary for their work. And so between the Cary Chamber of Commerce and the Cary Rotary Club, they sponsor a couple of teachers. And so I did share with them that we cannot always make a Tuesday meeting, that we've but we look forward to partnering with them, and so there are some discussions to potentially change. I know that's something that former Chair Haggerty worked on, and so hopefully we can resolve that so the board can at least participate and show that gratitude. I also want to thank, Ms. Allen and Chief Luton and Ms. Clark and the comms team for taking part of my wild experiments by making sure that we can, be transparent with our voting process and our speakers list. And so I know that was a task, and so very grateful for that, and to the security team for restructuring the boardroom as well. So thankful for all of the work that went into making some of these changes possible over the break, and so grateful for the partnerships and the dedication. And I feel like it was something else, but I am going to stop there. Again, if it does come, I will include it in the next board comments. Actually, yes, I have the email. Dr. Chavis wanted me to recognize a couple of principals out in District 9 with WRAL's Voter Choices Award. So the top elementary school winner was Davis Drive Elementary School, which was led by Principal Barb. The top, Bob Fair, excuse me. The top middle school winner was Davis Drive Middle School, which is led by Principal Hokenberg. And the top high school was Green Hope High School under Principal Cleveland's leadership. As well as the top administration award goes to Principal Hokenberg from Davis Drive, and a second place was to Principal Fair at Davis Drive Elementary School. So grateful for WRAL for recognizing our hardworking staff, and I knew it was something, so hopefully I knew I could not forget that, because Dr. Chavis would not necessarily send me any more emails to share at the table. So glad I was able to remember that, and also looking forward to participating in the mid-years, and I'm looking forward to seeing the great things that those students are going to achieve when they leave WCPSS to achieve and go on to do greater things. So at this point, I will look to Vice Chair Hershey for a motion.
Chair Swanson, I make a motion that we move into closed session to consider confidential personnel information protected under GS 143-318.11A6. Oh, that got in my way. Hang on. The vote got in my way, and I can't read it. Let me close that. And 115C-319, to consult with the Board of Education attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in GS 143-318.11A3, to consider confidential student information protected under GS 115C-402 and the Family Educational and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 1232G.
All right, there is a motion. Is there a second? Second by Dr. Jobe. The votes should have populated on your screen, so please be sure to record your vote. It was seconded by Dr. Jobe. Sorry. All right. Are we waiting on any other votes, Ms. Allen? How would you like Ms. Allen to record your vote? So yes. All right, Ms. Allen has closed the voting. All right, so the motion has approved. We are in closed session. Have a good evening, everyone.